crazy what your brain tells you to do when you're a kid.
So I just came from watching Adolescence. Adolescence is a new series on Netflix. It's a mini-series with just 4 episodes. A British crime drama that follows the story of Jamie Edward Miller. It was nice to see the main character with my name. Anyway, Jamie Edward Miller is arrested with accusations of murder. He's only 13. It was very funny to watch the first episode. This boy being accused of murder at 13 and he's there peeing himself as he gets arrested. Anyway, this is going to be a non-spoiler review. It's just 4 episodes. First of all, the kid actors in this show, ooh la la. I don't know which acting school they went to. I don't know how much money they were paid. But there was this one girl in episode 2. If you watch the show, you know which girl I'm referring to. There was this black girl in episode 2. Damn, what a good actress. And Jamie and the dad, especially Jamie. Because episode 3 is mostly Jamie, right? Hey, Jamie, really good actor. I don't know where these kids came from, but each episode is shot in one take. I began noticing that in episode 1. So it's funny, when I was watching the show, typically I went in blind. So typically when you're watching a show, you're just like processing to try and understand what it's about. Then I noticed, wait a minute, when the lawyer showed up, I noticed this weird camera thing where instead of the camera just cutting, in camera work, they cut to someone's face like a close-up shot so that you can see their reaction. But I noticed the camera is doing this slow pan to the character, then slowly panning back. And I was like, the fudge, what's happening here? Then I realized, oh, the whole episode is one take. Okay, which explains why in episode 2, there's a scene where 2 characters are running. It was one of the most awkward running scenes I've ever seen, simply because it's a running scene in one take. I don't know if this is like some sort of camera trick or they actually do one take. I don't know. You can tell me in the comments, because this isn't the first time I've watched something that is one take. There's a horror movie I reviewed a few months back called Mads. M-A-D-S. It was also a horror movie in one take, but horror movies can hide cuts in dark scenes. This show mostly takes place during the day, so I don't know if they did the whole thing actually in one take or there's some sort of trick in editing. I don't know. But yeah, I noticed that in episode 2, there are 2 characters who run out. One is running after the other, and they do this weird run. And I was like, why are you running weirdly? It's like this funny, weird jogging run. And I was like, that's not how people run. Especially if you're running after a high school boy, the boy is going to take off. But because, well, it's one take, you can't just bolt. The cameraman won't catch up with you. Episode 2 had a lot of stuff happening. Wow. Of the 4 episodes, I would say episode 2 has a lot happening. There's this, somewhere near the end of the episode, there's this part where they do like a ground shot. And then they do like, it transitions into like a drone shot. Then it transitions, like when the drone comes down, it transitions to like a close-up shot of someone's face. Intense camera work. Wow. Episode 1, when the lawyer shows up for the first time, that's when I realized that the whole thing is a one take thing. Episode 3, honestly, I thought it was just going to be a yap fest. I thought episode 3 was going to be a yap fest because you get to see Jamie talking to this psychologist chick. But episode 3 is a very important episode. In fact, I would say the whole show is about basically episode 3. Because episode 3 is an attempt to dive into the psyche of adolescent boys, their thoughts on women, their thoughts on sexuality and things like that. Very impressive episode 3. I thought it was going to be a yap fest, but if I was to summarize the whole show, it would be episode 3. The whole show, in my opinion, just gave me adolescence PTSD. It gave me adolescence PTSD. Just thoughts of high school, because me, I'm 31, but my memory is very good. Like, people who know me in person know my memory is insane. I can remember some things from like 2010, like they were yesterday. So watching the show brought back a lot of, like, let me say, high school PTSD. There's one character in this show who says that walking through high school is like smelling cabbage, masturbation, chalk. She described the smell as cabbage jerking off and chalk. And I was like, wow, that's kind of accurate. I know the smell that she's describing. I know it very well. Episode 2 and episode 3 captured the angst of high schoolers, of adolescents. It captured the school disorder of teenagers. Like there's this one scene where a teacher tells this young boy, "Hey, put your phone away," and the child says, "Shut up, lady," something like that. The way kids talk back, really, really well captured show. I noticed some, like, let me say, Quentin Tarantinoism type style of storytelling. So Quentin Tarantino is one of the few directors that I know who can do dialogue really well. A good example is The Hateful Eight. If you've never watched Hateful Eight, go watch that show. Hateful Eight is full of scenes of characters just sitting talking. And Quentin Tarantino is one of the few directors who can do dialogue driven scenes for long. And he's like the only director I know who could do that really well. And then I watched this and I was like, wow, this is like close to Quentin Tarantino type quality of drama. You create drama out of people talking. Not many directors can do that well. Not many shows can do that type of storytelling. The first 2 episodes are mostly plot driven. You watch them trying to know whether Jamie really did kill that girl or not. And then the next 2 episodes are very character driven. In my opinion, I even stopped caring to know whether Jamie killed the girl or not. At some point, I was so invested in the characters in episode 3 and episode 4. I didn't even care. I just enjoyed watching the characters interact. Episode 4, wow, was a very important episode that I didn't even know the story needed. Episode 4, you get to see the effects of Jamie's arrest on the family, especially the dad. Very interesting, very great acting. Obviously, the only thing I would say is that it's a bit of a slow show because it's a one take thing, but the one take sort of filming technique creates a more authentic experience. I'm telling you, the way it was filmed in one take, me in my head, I was like, this actually happened. I'm watching maybe like a documentary or something, I don't know, or surveillance footage or some shit. Like I was like, is this really like happening in real time? Is this really an act? Because it seems all very authentic, like it actually happened in real life. Yeah, the last 2 episodes are very character driven, and I really liked the way the whole show was executed. Very interesting show. I would give it an 8 out of 10 in my opinion. An 8 out of 10. If you've enjoyed this review, make sure to smash like and subscribe. Wow, pretty good show. British shows always rule. The last one that I reviewed on this channel was Day of the Jackal, and it was a banger. Day of the Jackal. I'll leave it on screen, and I'll see you in the next one.